All right, I think we're ready.
Okay. Welcome back to CrawlCast. We took a little bit of a sabbatical there, but that's what in the heat of wheeling season, even with coronavirus and all the current events going on in our crazy world right now, we're still getting out there and producing as much content for you guys that's going to be available on season 2.
Season dose.
No, not season 12. Season 2 of Kingdom Crawl. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. I know personally, I've had people asking for, hey, where's the podcast? So we apologize, but
we've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, in the midst of wheeling season, guys, you got to bear with us sometimes because we've been all over the place. And
let's catch them up.
Hustling.
Let's catch them up. All right, so last time we talked to everyone, we were in Moab. And what was the last episode? Jeremy. We talked to Jeremy and Brinks.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, Jeremy, Brinks, CC, and Jake.
Yep. So after we left Moab, what did we do?
I think we came home for about a week and then headed to Tennessee.
Yep.
Or maybe
no. We were already in Tennessee. We were in Tennessee.
So confused.
It's been a long few months.
So Tennessee was before Moab? Oh yeah, it was like a week before Moab. That's right. So Tennessee.
It was a quick turnaround.
Tennessee to Moab.
Well, for me,
Moab to Crawl the Con.
For me, I spent a lot of time editing.
Yeah.
So the first 4 episodes so far of season 2 are 90% complete.
Yeah. For your eyeball vaginas to get moist watching.
And I'll tell you right now, the first 4 episodes are really, I mean, I am saying so myself, but they are pretty damn good.
I'm excited to show you guys the experiences.
to have a biased opinion.
Right.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did some editing. Ryan leaving Moab, you were having mechanical issues, Jeep not wanting to run issues. So
some part there in Pritchett Canyon, we lost a slider. Passenger side slider.
We won't say how,
but it's gone. It's gone, and they're long gone. What I didn't realize is there were Rubicon sliders.
Who was that chick that carried that up? Do you guys remember? Whitney?
Yeah.
Whitney
Davis.
What a fucking beast, man! I just see her coming up with yellow.
She's benching it as she's walking up the trail.
Like
she walked it up Axel Hill, didn't she?
No, I can't. I met her at the bottom because I'm like, I'm not letting you carry that all the way over here.
No,
so I walked.
Yeah,
down.
it was Yellow Hill. Yeah, because it was right by Son of Rockpile. It was so funny because I was down trail filming, and I think we were crisscrossing paths, and I think you said something to me, Ryan, like, "Oh, I almost gave my rock slider fell off. We'll just leave it at that." Yeah. And I'm like, "What?" And I kind of was like, "What did you just say to me?" And I'm
gonna leave it
walking
right here.
And I'm walking up the trail, and I'm like, "Holy fuck! There's a fucking rock slider laying on the ground."
What I told him was, "Hey, make sure someone throws that in their Jeep because I didn't have room between coolers and camera gear and all that, and my kid's car seat. I didn't have room to throw it in there. So I was like, hey, Jeremy from Rock Crawler has a Gladiator, JT. I was like, hey man, throw it in the bed on your way up."
Yeah.
And that bed got jacked up.
Yeah. So anyway, Whitney from Boss Racing carried it from basically Son of Rockpile all the way to the bottom of Yellow Hill. I see her cuffing and puffing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to run down there and grab it. And she's like, just getting after it. She's like, "Oh, I got my steps in, my cardio." I'm like, "Oh, that's good for you." But now I'm walking up this big ass hill. So that was
I can't tell you how many times that story has been retold personally in my life, mainly by Diezel telling everybody in the world. So, I mean, the fact that we're keeping the the guilty innocent at this point in time probably doesn't matter.
So what happened?
If you know, you know.
Okay, here's what happened. I had a camera in my hand, as I always do, and the battery died. So my bag was in Ryan's Jeep.
Yep.
and I went back to his Jeep to retrieve a battery. And my fat ass stepped on his slider and broke the slider off from the Jeep.
It fell off.
It just
straight onto the floor.
I didn't know what the fuck happened.
He goes, "Hey, your slider fell off on the radio." And I'm like, "What do you mean? It was just there. I used it like to crawl up an obstacle." He goes, "Yeah, it's not there anymore."
It's hanging by one bolt.
Yeah. So it was a stock Rubicon slider with a weld-on poison spider step, and it was still bolted to the pinch seam. That's all that was holding it. So when I used it to crawl up the obstacle, it pulled it, bent it a little bit, and then he finished it off.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So now I'm on a diet now. I've been for about 2 weeks because, that's not why. That does help my reasoning.
That's why. He goes,
"You guys want to do another ASMR episode and eat some fast food?"
Right.
Yeah. So
sorry about your sliders.
It's all good. We thanks to G-Man, Gerald over at Savvy, we got some aluminum ones coming with the new body cladding. So hopefully those will go on and be good as new.
Speaking of, Savvy is going to be another sponsor for Kingdom Crawl this year. So
yes,
shout out to Savvy and Gerald Lee.
Yeah. Awesome. I like those guys.
Yeah. They're fun.
So then let's see, editing, fixing Jeeps. And then it wasn't running right.
Yeah. So after the rock slider, come to find out I pinched a wheel speed sensor. It got between the bump stop and the truss. So I got under there and literally twisted the wires together with my hand, and it started running better. And then there was a stupid, crazy misfire, and we were messing around in the sand dunes. Pulled it off the trail, looked at it, was like, "Oh, well, we got 1 day of wheeling left. We'll go mess around in BFE." It was still good unless I was wide open throttle. Mm-hmm. So I could still wheel, put the T-case in 4 low and, let her eat without standing on it. It was fine.
Yeah.
So we wheeled, brought it back to the house, and so far so good. Changed out a fuel line, replaced the ABS sensor wire, and running decent now.
Good. Yeah. And then I know we kind of alluded to it on our last episode of CrawlCast, but something that hasn't been videoed in a very long time is area BFE. We did get special permission, thanks to the guys over at Artec, to go wheel area BFE, which was freaking awesome and weird because there was like all the tire marks on everything were gone. Like
vegetation growing through places that you used to drive through.
We were going towards El Dorado and like looking for the gatekeeper, and we're like, I think this is it.
There's like a big bush growing right in the middle of it. I'm like, well, let's just just drive over it because I think that's it.
Yeah. So it was really cool to have that special access.
I would have loved to have been there, but
yeah,
I still had fun that day.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got a chance to get out with some really great people.
Yeah. So that was my first time actually. So what happened was we split up. Adam and Ryan, they went and did area BFE. And I went with Gerald Lee, Jeremy Purick,
Larry
McRae, and Brian Williams from CMM.
Yeah, the guys from Radflow.
Glenn.
Tim Pellegrino was there too.
Yeah, Tim was there too. I almost forgot.
Straight Jacket.
Sorry, Tim.
Hashtag Straight Jacket Tim. Starting that shit now. And I'll tell you why later.
But yeah, we did Still Bender. And that was just a real chill day.
Yeah.
So it was my first time ever meeting Larry and wheeling with him. So I was pretty stoked.
I would have liked to have had lunch with y'all on the trail.
That was actually fun.
Was there a blue TJ there with like ghost flames on it on that run?
Yeah, that was Antonio.
Yeah,
he's 16.
Yeah. So I can loop that whole story, getting people caught up here.
Okay.
Because I got a chance to meet Antonio 2 weeks ago.
He's pretty cool.
Super cool kid. Very, very respectful. I think Larry McRae is his godfather.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. I bowed down to that kid's driving ability.
Yeah.
He's been wheeling since he was walking.
Yeah. That kid can fucking drive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Super good kid too. Like super respectful.
Humble as hell.
The place we were staying, like that morning I got up and he's just like quietly sitting on the couch, kind of like thumbing through Facebook or whatever. Didn't turn the TV because we were all still sleeping. I happened to peek in his room because it was right off the kitchen and like bed's perfectly made. Like, I'm like, dang, what the hell is that? Is that my computer making all that noise?
I think so.
I'm like, for a 16-year-old kid, like, that's super awesome.
Right. It's a pretty unheard of these days too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised he wasn't like all vegged out, watching TV as loud as it would go while we're still asleep. Anyway, say Antonio, super good kid. But anyway,
shout out to his dad Julio too.
Yeah, a little bit of a sidetrack there, but
back to Steelbender.
Yeah, so Steelbender was fun. It was just a really chill day. I mean, no one took any of the hard lines just because it was literally the last day we were going to be there.
Right.
And Cece and Brinks were driving on their dad's laps. So it was really, really chill. I really want to run that trail backwards.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Some of those obstacles would be fun, especially going up like the big hill you got to come down.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But then I guess for me, let's see, we got back from Moab June 1, basically, for lack of not having a calendar in front of me.
That looks about right.
So we got back about June 1, and then I kind of focused on my Jeep and my personal life and my job, and kind of flew through a month, 4 weeks, and then went on a 20-day sabbatical of wheeling and golfing.
Lucky.
And road tripping. So it was super awesome. So I had the opportunity to join Crawl Magazine on their Crawl the Con run, which is Crawl the Rubicon. For those of you that don't get
if you're not hip to what the con is, I mean, yeah. What the fuck?
You should just sell your Rubicon Jeep and buy a Bronco or something.
Yeah. 2021. Anyway, so Diezel, who has been on, I think, all but one Kingdom Crawl so far, and has been on this podcast a couple times. I mean, I think everybody knows Diezel. He got the invite, which kind of is the roundabout kind of way is how we were able to go on that event and do some footage for him. So Diezel road trips, because that's his thing, and his 1-ton 40-inch tire stock motor Jeep
with 200 something.
It's 180,000.
Oh, it's a lot of miles
on a 3.6.
Mobbing from North Carolina to California.
Yeah, so I flew to Las Vegas to meet him on his road trip. I told Diezel because he just drives straight through, because like one of his big things is he'd rather save money on hotels and have more money for whatever wheeling stuff is going on.
Right.
Makes sense.
And I'm like, bro, it's going to be a 40-hour drive from North Carolina to Las Vegas for you. I think it's like 33 if you look it up on Google, but you can still manage to get about 17 miles to the gallon out of that Jeep if you drive like 60 to 62. So you got to add some time on there.
Right.
It was incredible that Jeep still got that kind of mileage, gas mileage. It's just, I'll talk more about it. But anyway, so I flew to Vegas. I'm like, dude, I'll pay for a hotel room. And Vegas was stupid cheap. Like, I think between the flight to Vegas and the hotel room, I think I was like $112.
Wow. Sold. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like everything's still closed in Vegas. So people aren't going out there. So they're basically begging for tourism, which going to Vegas right now for tourism's not ideal. I mean, all their bars are shut down, state mandate. Like at poker tables, you can only sit 3 people and you have to wear a mask the whole time. And so, like, if you're drinking,
poker face.
Yeah. So if you're, that's the ultimate poker face.
Right. Yeah. You can't tell.
No facial expressions are seen. But yeah. So like, if you're having a cocktail or a beer or whatever while you're playing, like, it's like they want you to be like, whoosh, whoosh. So mask off, take a quick sip,
holy
mask
fuck.
right back on. Yeah, it's kind of inconvenient.
Not getting hammered this.
No. Like, I'm just going through the mask. Screw it.
Works as a nice filter.
So it was really weird, but we actually had a pretty good time. We met up with some of Diezel's old friends because he's originally from Reno, so he's got friends that have moved to Vegas since. We went to Top Golf one night. and met this guy named Kel, and he's a black dude. And it was not that that's important, but it's for the story it is. But it was funny because he's introducing himself to Diezel and I. Apparently, Diesel's friends that were there, like they go to that Top Golf all the time. They know Kel, whatever. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Kel," and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm Adam. Nice to meet you." And then he's reaches over and says, "Hey, I'm Kel," and Diesel says, "What was your name?" And the first thing was like, "Who loves orange soda?" Kel loves orange soda. But I didn't say it because I was like, man, will that be like super racist to say that to a black guy being a white guy? Like, and then immediately he's like, "Kel, like, who loves orange soda?" Kel loves orange. I'm like, my man. So flamboyantly gay too, on top of all of it, but super cool dude. Like basically we played Top Golf for free, which was sweet.
There you go.
So we did Top Golf that night, and then when Diezel and I went back to the hotel and decided we were going to sit down at a blackjack table with $100 each, and we ran the house. I mean, we made a ton of money. I left on a 20-day road trip wheeling golfing adventure with $300 in my pocket at the end of all of it.
There you go.
Yeah, so it worked out really well for me.
I'm still amazed that Diezel can golf with his physical limitations.
Oh man, do I have some golfing stories from that? Yeah, so it is. He does. I mean, he falls down walking, so every now and then he'll really try to crush the ball. And when we say swinging out of your shoes, like maybe you'll get a little stumble after your swing or whatever. He just falls down, which is amazing to watch.
4.
But then, so the next day we took off to Reno. We stayed the night in Reno, played some golf in Reno. And then basically got his Jeep out of road trip mode and got it into trail mode. So pulled the hard doors off, the hard top off, put the half doors on. We left a bunch of shit at his buddy's house, Dubsky in Reno.
I can't wait to hear the Dubsky story, by the way.
Dude, Dubsky's a fucking maniac. I love that guy. Like, if we do the Rubicon, I already told him straight up. I'm like, dude, I'm staying here.
We're gonna come and see you.
This is gonna be my landing spot. I mean, because from his house to the trailhead was like an hour and a half drive, so it works out pretty good. But anyway, so we stripped the Jeep down. We basically took our luggage from having luggage to just packed all of our clothes and whatever we thought we were going to need into backpacks, just so we didn't have a bunch of shit in the Jeep for the Rubicon, because we had to get camping gear, Jeep gear, and personal gear and camera gear all into a Jeep that doesn't have a back seat anymore because of the way he designed his cage. So take your 4-door Rubicon from the back of the front seat to the tailgate and use only about 25% of it to pack 2 guys in there for 4 days.
Right.
So we really had to cut stuff down, but Dubsky was great, dude. He let us leave shit at his house, which was really inconvenient because I left some stuff that I should have had on the trail at his house, like my toothbrush.
Do you hate it when that happens?
Well, luckily I'm one of those guys that like constantly worries about bad breath, plus being a tobacco user anyway. Like, I know my breath gets bad. So
Right.
like I always have a lot of gum on me all the time. So luckily I happen to be on the trail with a ton of gum. So I was that guy just like smacking my lips all day. And I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. Cause if I wasn't this way, you would not be happy to talk to me right now.
Right.
But anyway, so we did that. And then I'll tell you the best. I don't want to get too carried away into golfing, but we played Paradise Cove at South Lake Tahoe or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the golf course, but it was the cheapest golf course in Tahoe that we could find. It was like $115 a person with a cart, which is about $65 or $70 more than I like to pay to play golf anyway. So,
Especially when City Park is what, $35 or something?
yeah, I mean, you can play around here all day long for $40 with a cart.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, God, I don't want to pay for this, but I just made out really well in Vegas, so
Yeah.
screw it. And I used the line from Wayne's World several times that week. Do you accept cash? But so we play there, and I walk into the clubhouse which is not super big. And there's probably a sign just smaller than the banner behind Ryan that says play at your own risk, which I've never seen that at a golf course before.
Right.
Makes sense. I'm thinking like, well, hell, it's California. They're probably some sort of legislation and somebody's probably won a lawsuit from getting hit by a golf ball in whatever city that golf course was in. That was the most dangerous fucking golf course I've been on in my entire life.
Were there bears?
No, it was, well, they said there were bears in the area, but it wasn't that. It was like a local municipality course. So those are typically short.
Those are shankers.
Yeah, they're typically short anyway. And then it was also a mountain course, which made it even shorter. So like they had a par 3 that was like 60 yards. I'm like, man, 60 yards is tough because like I can go like 25 or 100.
Yeah.
I don't really have
which way am I gonna?
Yeah, I don't really have a gap wedge. But we had a bachelor party behind us, and all the dudes were into clubs. So I don't know if they traveled to Tahoe or they weren't golfers or whatever. And the 4th hole was a par 4 that was like 200 yards. Like that's how short this course was. And you had basically the green, cart path, and then the tee box for 5 was directly behind number 4. Or number 4 is green.
Oh shit!
So Diezel hits his ball and he hits it into the pond on 5. And so he's like, fuck. And he's walking back to the cart to get another ball. I tee off, put it on the green, whatever. I turn around because Diesel's like, huh! Like I hear that, and he's laying on, and he's on his hands and knees on the ground, and there's a ball rolling, and so I just thought he fell, right? Because
he just dropped the ball.
Oh fuck!
No, he got drilled in the dick, directly in the dick by a ball from the guys that were on 4. And then I start paying a little bit more attention, and there's just random golf balls flying all over the place in different fucking directions. I think we played 13 holes, and we're like, fuck this course, and left.
Is that your ball? That one's not my ball.
Was it a Titleist?
Yeah, what's an expensive ball? Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was the craziest, most scary golf course. And I'm not a big Yelp or Google reviewer, but it would be a 1-star just based on price. If it was like 35 or $40, like sure, it would have been a fine price for the shitty golf course.
Right, to get nailed in the dick.
I used to golf all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost got in a fight on a golf course once.
Yeah.
I really got into a ball and I didn't think I was going to hit the green.
Yeah.
And not only did I hit the green, but I almost hit this guy's kid that was with him.
Right.
And I drive up. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit up on you. I really got a hold of it. Sorry. And he starts going off at me. You motherfucker. You almost hit my kid. This and this and that. I'm like, dude, I said sorry.
Yeah.
And he came out and off.
Yep.
So I said, all right, you want to fucking go? You want to fucking get your ass beat in front of your kid? Let's fucking do it right here.
It's all your fucking fault, Jimathan. Do you guys ever watch Eastbound and Down with Yeah, when they're at the putt mini golf course thing.
Yeah.
It's all your fucking fault, Jimathan.
Kind of name.
I mean, that's not why I don't golf anymore, but
it's a good portion of it.
I've been, you know what? I've hit into people and I've been hit into, and it's just one of those things that,
oops,
dude, if you hit into me once, no fuss, no muss.
Right.
Don't fucking hit into me again because I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
If you're hitting into me because you think I'm playing too slow, let's have that conversation. I'll let you play through. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah,
go on ahead.
I'm actually out here just to get drunk.
Right.
Golf is a byproduct of what I'm doing.
Be like, you see that cooler? The motherfucker's almost empty.
Yeah.
It's a nice duck hook, by the way.
Yeah. But I was playing golf here in town probably a month ago and almost got in a fight for the similar situation. I got 2 guys that I play with that like 375 to 395 on their drive is something that's totally achievable for them all the time. And my buddy cut a corner on a dog leg right and hit the guy's cart, bounced off the roof of their cart, which was probably 30 yards away from the green, and they were standing on the green. And we got down there, and the guys wanted to pick a fight. And we're like, hey man, like, it was an accident, bro. Like, he absolutely fucking crushed this ball.
Yeah.
Maybe try saying, hey, dude, that was a fucking brilliant shot.
Yeah. Thanks for not hitting me.
Yeah. But anyway,
What club is that, by the way?
that he's hitting that far?
Yeah.
He plays with TaylorMade something or other. I don't remember which one.
That's a crushing drive.
Yeah.
But
he's also 6'4", 6'5", and he's got about
some inertia going.
Yeah, he's probably got about a 7. I mean, he's super long.
Yeah.
Ape arms.
It.
I think he's probably got about a 7-foot wingspan. So his club head speed's 142, I think is what he told me. Which, like, Dustin Johnson, one of the longest driving pros, his club head speed is like 130. So he's 10 miles an hour faster.
I'm guessing everyone right now that does not golf is bored out of their fucking minds right now.
I love golf. Anyway, so we go do the Rubicon Trail, and man, it was fun. It was really, really fun. We we had some asshole moments. We had some karma moments. We kind of had a little bit of everything, but the Rubicon is by far, now that I've done it once, that is the absolute best family wheeling trip that you can do. And I say family specifically because, so the trip for us was a day in to Rubicon Springs, 2 days at Rubicon Springs, and then a day out is how that whole event was set up. And that 2 days at Rubicon Springs, if you had a family, dude, like your family, that would be one of those trips that your family would never, ever forget. I mean, as a grown man, I felt like a child playing around in Rubicon Springs with Corey Osborne from Metal Cloak, Tim Pellegrino, and Brian Williams.
Mm-hmm.
We went on, and Diezel, which was fucking amazing. We went on like a 1.5 mile hike, and like further up the springs, like you've been on the trail, so this will make sense to you. So you go away from Cadillac Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what direction it is. So you're headed back towards the trailhead through actual Rubicon Springs campground. Because we weren't at the campground, we were at the Slabs or the Dirty Dozen, which is beyond.
Oh, where the creek actually goes through where the swing is.
Yeah. So we were by the swing, is where we were camping. So you go back through actual Rubicon Springs campground and back up the trail a little bit, and then probably about a 1/2 mile up the trail from where that rope swing is, and then like a mile back into the woods where Rubicon Springs, I'm assuming that's what that whole spring is called, or whatever the creek is that feeds Rubicon Springs, to where it's feeding in, and there's cliff jumping back there.
Really?
Yeah. It was dope. Super scary. You had about a spot about as big as from the front of the bar here to the wall, and about as wide to land on this 30-foot cliff jump.
No, thank you. With my luck, I'll break my legs.
Diesel's like, you guys are fucking dumb. I'm like, Diesel, do it. It's not like you got anything else you're gonna fuck up.
You already can't feel your legs, okay?
So I didn't do it. I didn't jump because like same kind of thing. Like my legitimate thought was like, dude, we already have one fucking disabled guy in our 2-man group. Let's just try to keep it at 1.
Someone needs to drive out of here.
Yeah, like worst case scenario, I can carry Diesel. Diesel can't carry me. So I didn't do it, but it was super fun. But I mean, the rope swing, there was guys that they had an old winch line, and they did a zip line across the springs, like just upstream from where that swing is. And you literally like ran down the hard top of this YJ. And I think they had like the straight little curl bar that you would use on like a
weight machine.
Cable machine.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were using. So like it was rotating on them and stuff. Super sketchy, but it was fun. But it was just like 2 days of chilling. And that's where I thought the event was a little bit different that's how the event ended up being different than what I was expecting I was going into. Because I thought what was going to happen is we were going to get to Rubicon Springs, and we're going to have like little parties, go do Cadillac Hill or run back up the trail and run, run up
box or something.
Yeah. Run up, Big Sluice, run up Big Sluice, and then loop back down Old Sluice, back down Big Sluice, back to camp. I thought that's what the event was, but that's not at all. It was a 4-day camping trip, basically. But it was good.
Wheel in, camp, and wheel out.
Yeah. Which was good because I was in the mindset of running up and down the trail and being a one-man camera crew for as many rigs as I could convince people to go out and do this stuff, or if it was just going to be me and Diezel, like that's kind of what I had in my mind. And then what I didn't realize is that 2 days of just chilling at Rubicon Springs is actually what I personally needed. Like it was nice to just chill, relax, put my feet up, have a couple beers, whatever. And then so many good people. I don't know what it is, but like everybody seems to want to take care of Diezel for whatever reason. I think because like I don't know if they feel bad for him, which they shouldn't.
I think people gravitate to him regardless.
Yeah, I do too. But so Rocky Durham, who is one of Gerald Lee's drivers, co-drivers, and then Corey Osborne, and then Jesse from Metal Cloak, like they just continuously fed us, let us use all their camping stuff. Man, I'm not, because all we brought was fucking lunch meat, tortillas. That's all we were planning on eating for 4 days.
Sammys.
Yeah. So it was really cool. So we had a great time doing all that. And then so after 4 days on the Rubicon, we headed back to Reno because that's where all of our belongings were. Stayed the night in Reno again, got the Jeep put back together. Actually, we stayed 2 nights in Reno. Got the Jeep put back together, did the nut and bolt check thing, this, that, and the other, because we're still in the midst of a wheeling / road trip. Partied our asses off pretty fucking hard one of the nights in Reno.
Does that explain the 2 nights?
No, we planned 2 nights. And then
I spent a week in Reno one night.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that could happen.
What feels like a week. But what'd you do after Reno?
So after Reno, we headed to Sand Hollow State Park in Hurricane, Utah, just north of St. George. And the reason we did it is because we didn't know. We knew we had, God, what did we have? 5 days between me catching a flight home and Diezel needing to be fully back on the road, headed back to North Carolina. So we didn't know what we were going to do. And we talked about it several times leading up to the trip. And I was like, I don't know, dude, we could go to the Hoover Dam and we could go find little roadside attractions. But then in the midst of it, because of the coronavirus, California completely shut back down while we were on the Rubicon Trail. So we actually didn't have any idea till we got off the trail. And Nevada followed suit immediately, basically. So there was no stopping at roadside attractions. There was no little bars we could go check out, nothing like that. So I reached out to Tanner Ricks from Rockslide Engineering because we had talked while we were in Moab. And he's like, oh yeah, my parents have a house down in Hurricane. If you guys ever want to come, just hit me up and I can either meet you down there or I'll let you know what the code is to get in the house.
Right.
So I'm like, well, fuck it, dude. We could go to Sand Hollow. Like we got a place to stay. So I hit up Tanner Ricks and he loaded up his wheelies, which that thing is fucking sick, dude. That is such a cool Jeep. But he loaded up his wheelies and his 7-month pregnant wife and headed down there and met us. So we got to Sand Hollow and basically wheeled for 2 days and 1 night in Sand Hollow. And that place is freaking epic. Like, it's so hard to describe because like Moab, you have all the traction in the world. But unlike Moab, it's all big flex stuff. Put your Jeep in like the worst position you could ever think to do this obstacle. Like it is, well, as I told you guys, Pritchett Canyon would be considered an easy trail if Pritchett Canyon was just transplanted to Sand Hollow. And Pritchett Canyon is supposedly the hardest trail or one of the hardest trails in Moab. So, and for those of you that aren't familiar, at Sand Hollow, they rate everything, all the trails, instead of having a 1 to 10 rating, they rate them up to 15. And to get that 15 rating on a trail means one person has done it unassisted. So no winching or anything like that. So, I mean, the trail double Sammy, which has got the iconic chute at the end of it.
Yeah, that you climb up and out of.
Yeah. That trail was rated a 7, and I thought that trail was harder than Pritchett Canyon. And that's one of the easier trails out there.
Well, Pritchett Canyon used to be difficult when 35s were the big tire.
That's true, too.
And the rating system in Moab has not changed for probably 20 years. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about the toughest trails in Moab, I think we have to actually go outside of Moab.
Right.
To actually hit the toughest trails. Because Area BFE, even though it's closed, has tougher trails than Pritchett.
Right.
Or whatever might be out there.
Yeah. So, and I know like some of the Red Dot guys and whatnot, they have some little secret locations in, near, and around Moab that I have no idea what they are because I'm not a Red Dot guy.
Well, there's two trails that are permit only, right?
Yeah, you have like
Coyote Canyon,
right?
And then like Axle Breaker, Twister.
It's something like
Rory
that.
Irish. We were talking with Rory Irish today. We got to Moab about that he was going to go run it in tow Mater.
Yeah,
and we're like, really?
I want to watch.
Yeah, can we just come film that?
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, so I guess the reason I'm comparing it to Moab is because people always compare it to Moab because that's the question I always get. Well, what's it like compared to Moab? Or that's a question I tend to ask a lot. What's it like compared to Moab? And there's not a comparison.
It's hard.
Yeah. But the coolest thing about it is it's a state park. It's wide open wheeling. So I think there's maybe, I don't know, let's just say 10 actually designated trails. And I use that term lightly because if you don't know them, you'll never find them. Like they'll have like a trail marker at the head of the trail that says, oh, you're on the maze or you're on Double Sammy or you're on Milt's Mile or whatever. But like after you pass that sign, there's nothing else. Follow the darkest tire marks, basically.
Right. I think that's an obstacle.
But that's the beauty of it. If you think that's an obstacle, go put a tire on it. If you see something over there that looks cooler, go put a tire on that. Like you can literally go wherever you want. And then that reservoir. So the poor decision on going to Sand Hollow, the only poor decision was the 3rd week of July. And it was, I think the coolest day we had over there was 107. And I think it was 112 the first day.
Yeah, no thanks.
It was hot.
I don't like it when it's that hot. And I'll tell you why.
Oh,
my fucking Snickers bar will melt.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. Diezel got like the big hunks candy bars.
Yeah.
Because apparently you can't get them in North Carolina and he loves them. And literally took them and shoved them into the AC vents in his Jeep. Like walked out of the gas station and shoved them in there and just like cranked the AC. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, well, I'm going to save these for later. I don't want them to melt. All right. Put them in a fucking cooler too, but whatever. But just watching him jam that chocolate bar into the vent was gross and amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what happens when you put a candy bar in a cooler. You get chocolate water.
That's true. Nobody wants chocolate water.
Chocolate starfish. But.
Yeah. But anyway, that was so amazing. I can't wait to go back. Like, I don't know. I got a buddy that wants to go out there and he's got like a little Toyota Truggy thing. And I'm like, let's make it happen. Like, figure out a weekend that would work for you. I'll let you know what weekends I'm free based on my real job work schedule.
Right.
And like, let's figure it out. Because, dude, it was so amazing. And Tanner Ricks and his parents came in so huge. That house is so nice. I mean, and it was a 3-minute drive to the state park. And then what was cool is, like I was saying, it was hot. It was cool because it was hot. No. But there's no shade. There's no relief from the fucking sun out there anywhere. I mean, maybe if you drop down into some of the canyons or whatever, but a lot of those canyons are all like the, 13, 14, 15 buggy rated bullshit that we never really got into.
Right.
But you run these trails and all the trails are blocked by sand dunes, which is fun. So you get to run sand dunes in and out both times or every time. and then you run down the sand dunes across a little road that runs through State Park right to Sand Hollow Reservoir, which was like 80 degrees. It was fucking perfect, dude. So we'd go wheel for like 2 or 3 hours and then go and swim, and then go wheel for 2 or 3 hours, then go and swim.
There you go.
And you get out and you're dry in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. But like that water being probably around 80 degrees felt cold when you jumped into it.
Sure. Yeah. 107 degrees.
Well, how cold was the water on the Rubicon?
It was cold, probably 55 or 60.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's chilly.
It took your breath away, but like, it was one of like, that was the epitome is like don't test the water, just
Jump.
go for it.
How many people busted their ass on the slick rock, on the algae?
Oh,
Because you don't know it's there until you're actually on your ass.
well, if you guys know me, you know I took a couple of those counts. Because yeah, the Rubicon is dirty, dusty. I mean, it's like talcum powder all over the place.
Right.
So like you get filthy, even if you're not hiking. If you're just sitting in the Jeep, you are covered from head to toe in silt. So like we literally rolled up to where we found our little campsite, and once again we were rocky, and like kind of found our campsite, kind of like threw our shit like, all right, I'm gonna set my tent up here, I'm gonna set my tent up here, I'm gonna set my tent up here, and then all got into the springs. And I did that like, ooh, fuck, man, I might just be dirty for 4 days.
JK, psych.
Yeah. And then I was trying to like slowly walk down a rock and hit some algae, and was like whoosh, all the way under. I'm like, well, I'm in now. Hey, Rocky,
was cold.
Toss me that shampoo. But I didn't bring a towel on the trail either, so it's not like I could dry off when I got out. So I just would stand there like a wet dog shivering on a rock, like, oh, come on and dry off. But anyway, Sand Hollow, man, I don't know if you've never been there and you're looking for a challenge and you're competent. I think that's a big thing about Sand Hollow. Don't go out to Sand Hollow with that like mentality of I can get a decent driver through a lot of the stuff in Moab, because you just can't compare the two. Like you need to be a fairly technically sound driver with a very nice built rig. Like you don't want to be the guy, no offense, Gabe or myself, you don't want to be the guy seeing how far you can push stock 44 axles with 40-inch tires, because you will fucking break them out there.
My Magic 44s were awesome. They lasted so long.
I mean, if you drive right.
Yeah.
But
I'm interested to see if they broke after you sold them.
No, actually, I still talk to. I know the guy that bought them.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even finished installing them yet. So
Of course not.
him and I are in the same boat.
But I mean, do we going down there, right? I'm trying to think of content when we get to Sand Hollow. So the other really good thing about Sand Hollow is try to go with somebody that really does know the area, because Tanner does really know the area, and he's actually been helping map the area out, because I guess they're developing a GPS app that'll have the designated trails on there that you could, I don't know if you're going to buy it or whatever, that doesn't matter. But
Right.
so he's been out there actually helping with that project, and we got lost a couple times. So, I mean, and he knows it well. So
Right.
like being out there with somebody that knows the area is highly important. And then, I don't remember where I was going. Oh, so with the content, I'm thinking like, all right, what are some of the trails that I know with never being here? Like, what are some of the namesakes? So Double Sammy, Milt's Mile, the Maze. I was like, I want to run, and the Fallen and the Ledges. Like, I want to run all these trails. We didn't have time or chance to get through all of them. Mainly because, dude, it's an ADD paradise out there. So we were on Milt's Mile. There's another trail called Nasty Half, which is like I think the rating on it is a 12 or something like that. And then their ratings go down out there too by how many people complete the trail without winching. And I don't think they have anything under a 7 out there. So we were running Milt's Mile, and they have there's a obstacle called Three Monkeys, which if you're familiar out with Milt's Mile at all, Three Monkeys is kind of the iconic obstacle on there. It's basically you have 3 lines on this one obstacle. One's kind of like a big, giant, steep ass launch pad. One of them's kind of an off camber ledge kind of climb. Ledge probably isn't the right way to describe it. Kind of more like Axel Hill. It would be more comparable like Axel Hill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have one that is literally like a 7-foot straight up vertical ledge. And so we played around on that a little bit. And then we actually got Tanner's trucks pretty wedged up against the wall. So stopped and we didn't really have to recover them. We just had to figure out a way to be able to use either his winch or Diesel's winch to pull the body of his wheelies away from the wall. Cause his truck's super nice. He wheels the shit out of it, but he's also not, looking to completely destroy the side of his truck, So we got stuck there, and then Tanner was a little bit worked up after that, like nerves wise. So we just took a break, had I think we had a snack and water or whatever. And I keep looking at this like crazy little V-notch while we're all talking. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, dude, there's no way. I'm like, hey man, is that the trail? And he's like, no, it goes off to the left. And Diesel's like, well, what is that? Tanner's like, well, that's part of Nasty Half. That's the buggy trail that intersects Mills Mile. And that's why it's so hard. And Diesel's like, let's go look at it. And so we walked
Leave
down
it to
there.
Diesel.
Yeah. So and for those of you who don't know, Diesel's in a full body JK. It's a full body JK that's built like a buggy. So, but the full body part of it is why it's not a buggy. It's a very nice built JK. And we go and we walk down there and we look at this V-notch, and as we're going there, we're like, damn, this is crazy. That's kind of how the conversation starts to like, so what do you think? Like passenger way up here and driver here. And once passenger drop down onto this rock and then hard left and avoid this hole and this, that, and it started turning into like, how would you do this obstacle? Then it turned into like,
I'm going to do it.
So what do you think? You think you're going to put a tire on it? I don't know. I'm like, and then I'm a little bit of an instigator too, right? Plus looking for content. I'm like, dude, just put a tire on it. Just see how it feels. Like, just cause that's how it was. You climbed your passenger side way up high. And then you basically floated your passenger over to another rock because there was a giant hole. And if you would have ended up in that hole, you would have ended up
stuck,
broken, body damage. Stuck would have been the best thing to happen.
Right.
And so, we end up doing it. And then Diesel ends up running his full body JK, like a quarter mile down Nasty Half, which is just a crazy buggy trail. So, that's where the ADD kicks in. That's why we actually we ran all of Double Sammy, and that was the only trail that we completed from start to finish.
You guys didn't go back to Mills Mile. You just did Nasty Half and then bounced out.
And then looped around, found some other crazy stuff. And then it took a while to figure out how to get Tanner over to us because he wasn't going to take his Willis through that stuff. Like he was just trying to, not destroy his truck. So it took him a minute to loop around to catch up to us. And then at that point in time, it was like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. And we were all pretty hungry and hot. So Tanner's wife brought food to the reservoir and a cooler full of ice cold beer.
Oh, sold.
Yeah. So we're like, yep. Because Tanner's like, hey, I was just talking to Taylor and blah, blah, blah. She's willing to do this and that and the third. We're like, cool, man, let's go.
Yeah.
Don't have to ask us twice.
Right.
So we jammed down and swam and ate and then went and night wheeled. But dude, I left from St. George, Utah had a 6:00 flight or something like that. And so I got to the airport at 5:15 or something because it's just a little tiny regional airport. Like I'm sure you've flown out, both of you guys, flown, like you walk on the tarmac, walk up the stairs into the plane. So, and then Jeremy Hopper, that's where he flies out of. Mm-hmm. And so we had a chance to meet up with him for dinner one of the nights. And I was like, so what time do you think I should get to the airport? I have a 6:00 flight. He's like 5:45. I'm like,
are you sure?
Yeah. I was like, I got 2 checked bags. He's like 5:41. was legitimate. And their security, I think my flight was like 6:15 or whatever. Doesn't matter. But their security wasn't even open till 6. So I checked my bags and I'm just standing there at the front of the beginning of security, My flight's pretty soon. Does security open soon? They're like, oh yeah, they're back there. They're just getting set up. I'm like, they're not back there setting anything up. And then like all the TSA agents just come out of this like back room where they were probably having coffee and donuts before getting started. But their security line was about 14 feet long from start to finish.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah. The security line when we went to Tennessee, compared to that, I was in line for almost an hour.
Well, I mean, if you straight shoot through DIA, right? So from the end or from the beginning to the escalator, and that I guess that's what my comparison is 100 yards, probably 300 feet.
Yeah.
That was legitimately, even with like their little queue line and everything, probably 14 feet. Like where you put your check bag on to go through the X-ray machine, like maybe 2 or 3 feet on either side of that.
Damn.
That was it. Yeah. So it was cool. Worst flight I've ever had in my life coming home. As just single seat on one side and double on the other side.
Little puddle jumper.
And I'm not a tall guy, and I was sitting against the window, and I felt like I was sitting, with my head leaned away from the window the entire time. Plane was fucking hot. I mean, it was bad. It was a terrible flight, but it's like 45 minutes or something like that. It's pretty short.
Right.
The last time I was on a flight like that, I think you might have done one from Dallas to Hobby Airport.
Oh yeah. So you literally go straight up and then straight down.
Yeah. And then from that exchange, they lost my bag. Just from that.
Perfect.
Wow. Yeah, because I've done Orange County to Oakland, and that's pretty much the same thing. Like, you're like, yeah, Roger, we're at cruising altitude. Ding. Ding. Yeah, if you could put your seats in the upright position. And you're like, what the fuck? That was like 3 minutes.
I drove to Vegas one time when I used to live in LA.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing. I was like,
worst thing
30
ever.
minutes.
If you guys want to take any advice, never drive to Vegas.
Oh, I've done that.
Well, see, the drive to Vegas is always a fucking blast. You and your boys or whatever, partying on the way out there, all excited to go to Vegas. And then you spend the whole drive home hungover, not feeling good, just wanting to get
losing money.
So when I used to live in LA, we used to go on these things called turnarounds.
Yeah.
Because Vegas was only 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away.
Driving?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And so we would drive to Vegas on a Friday night and party all night and drive back the next morning, no matter what condition you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And this one time, this was so long ago. I'll tell you how long ago it was, because Master P, No Limit, was in concert at a bar there. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of what I remember. But from what I remember, there was a fight. And all of a sudden, the guy that's working the door says, all right, that's it. From here on, $200 a head. And I looked at my friend that I was with, and we're like, let's get the fuck out of here and get some in and out.
Yes.
But yeah, dude. So then I flew home and I mean, let's see, that was probably a week and a half ago, 12 days ago. And that was one of the absolute most fun experiences I've had doing it was a little bit of everything. It was a guy's weekend, a golfing trip, a wheeling trip, a road trip,
a diesel trip.
Yeah. A party
trip. It was a little bit of everything. Like, we had a really, really good time. And man, I gotta tell you, dude, it makes me think in my own head, I'm going to buy a truck and trailer for my Jeep. Hands down. I still also want to do road trip, wheeling trips in my Jeep, because it was so fun. I mean, and from our particular location, we're kind of disadvantaged because you head 5 minutes west from where we're currently sitting, and you're climbing your 1-ton Jeep up a hill, which is no fun.
Right.
But like, dude, there was something just pretty cool about, I mean, driving Diesel's Jeep, which is unique anyway, but like, everybody that passes you, because you don't pass anybody. Everybody that passes you,
like, what the fuck?
Or checking you out, waving and giving thumbs up.
Especially if you got the disco ball on at 2 a.m.
Right. Oh yeah, dude, the disco ball, and that was on all the time.
Yeah, all the lights,
music blasting. Yeah, he's just driving with his rock lights on.
Did he have his list of music on a piece of paper again?
I don't think so, but maybe.
in case anyone does not know, Diezel has a library of music on his phone.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, he carries a piece of paper with him of his music list. I don't know why, because it's on his phone.
Who knows, man? Maybe in case he loses service or can't find what he wants, he just types it in.
Yeah, who knows why he does that. But he, I don't know, dude. It was just fun. It was fun to just get in a Jeep with a buddy and road trip and drink and party and gamble and swim and all this stuff.
Yeah, it was like a big trip, kind of shortened down, all packed together.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. I recommend you do it. Just get out there, go make it happen. Assuming your Jeep has axles and tires and stuff like that.
I mean, you guys have those things. They're just not.
They're not
currently installed.
Put together.
But then, yeah, it was actually really funny. So Diezel he's got weird ways of. So me and Diezel have got this really weird relationship. Like,
is that what you guys call it?
Yeah. But it's like we're part best friends. Like, oh, look at all this room for activities. Best friends. We're part like we're part like mentor and apprentice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of have this like really weird relationship with like little pieces pulled from whatever adjective you would use to describe your friendship with whatever friend you have. And so we're out there in Sand Hollow, and dude, I'm just jonesing. I'm like, dude, I want to get my Jeep done. I got to get back out here, this, that, and the other. And I think Diezel could read that or feel the vibe or whatever. And he'd be like, hey man, you want to rip up this obstacle? Be like, yeah, man, it sounds like a good time, without like trying to be like, fuck yeah, dude. And he's like, I bet you do get your fucking Jeep done. Like,
all right.
So like he used a little bit of reverse psychology for some motivation, and basically came back. And I mean, you guys know I got what I could get done, and whatever you want to call it, I'm out of time, out of money, out of talent, a little bit of all three, whatever. And I got my Jeep loaded up, taken over to Ludsky.
Yep. Over there at Core Off-Road.
Core Off-Road, and he's knocking that shit out. Like,
I think that's the first time I've seen axles underneath it in like, what, 2 years?
A little less than 2 years. Take it easy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be October of 18 through September of 20.
Wow.
So that excites me. He's just knocking out some of the stuff that I didn't want to buy tools to do. He's helping with some of the stuff that I don't know how to do. Like, I don't know how to tune suspension at all.
Sure.
I have zero idea. So he's helping me knock that stuff out. And with him owning a shop and having employees, like, somebody can be dedicated to it every day.
Right. Yeah. 8 hours a day. That's all you do.
As opposed to me, that for me to get 8 hours put in on my Jeep is a month.
Right.
That I might have 8 available free hours to work
on
my Jeep. So it's not ideal on the old pocketbook for what I want to do, but at the same time, I want my Jeep back.
I'm in the same boat, slightly different boat.
Yeah.
Bigger boat, I guess you can say. Because I need to get mine. What people don't know is I'm moving from the Denver area to the Nashville area this year.
Gay.
Well, the food is not. I'm going for the food. No, but I need to finish.
Is that why you're dieting now? So you can pack it all right.
Yes.
Slam it.
I'm trying. My literal goal is to lose 35 pounds so I can gain 35 pounds when I get there.
Because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, right? I mean,
it's either is it 35 back or is it 35 plus? Right. So do you want to be a fat piece of shit, or do you just want to be what you are now? Just give yourself the room.
I'm happy with what I am now, and I'll just lose what I have to and gain this shit back. I don't give a fuck. As long as I have some hot chicken.
Yo, dude, that hot chicken is out of control, man.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell you guys, when I stayed for, the extra couple of days for my birthday out there. And Matt Loxley took me to a place called Urban Grub.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
You're fucking,
it's
lobster like this big.
A full lobster in pasta.
Yeah.
And it's like a 5-star restaurant, but you can go dressed like you're going to a fucking
ball game.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the
That's
food,
my kind of place.
the food
Amen to that.
is phenomenal.
Do you have bush latte, please?
Yeah, because I don't have 5-star restaurant clothes. I do not own them.
No,
So-
not even 4.
Yeah, probably not even 2.5. What's
Pushing it.
McDonald's rate?
The hot dog cart's right up my alley.
Yeah. So that's perfect. But
Yeah, I think I got, I don't know, about 40 wheeling t-shirts and some messed up shorts.
yeah,
But yeah, I got to get this fucking Jeep out either to Tennessee, just on a roller so someone out there can finish it, or find someone here locally that has time to finish it for me before I move.
right. Because I mean, you're going to transport it down there anyway, right? I don't
Yeah.
imagine you're going to road trip that.
No, I'm not going to. No, that's
I mean, I just said get in your Jeep and do a road trip, wheeling trip, but
No
at the same time, dude, not everybody's as fucking crazy as Diezel. I don't know that I would want to
Yeah.
straight. Like, I could make my way to Tennessee in my Jeep if I was going to hit like Disney on the way out, or S'more, or like hit some off-road parks,
Sure.
maybe do 4 hours a day in the Jeep, whatever. But like, I'm about to drive this thing for 20 hours.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I think my pickup's more comfortable
Yeah.
than my
Yeah.
Jeep driving
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah. And that's what was unique about our trip, dude, is we just kept doing these like little jumps in the Jeep. So it never really felt like we were just stuck in his Jeep. It kind of did at some points in time. So I mean, going through the Mojave Desert or Death Valley or whatever the hell it's considered,
Mhm.
heading from Vegas to Reno, it was like
a tough drive.
well, it's boring.
Yeah.
First of all, there's nothing to look at, and it was like 118 outside air temp, and then Diesel's got like basically the whole back of his Jeep cut off, and it was so like all the outside heat, engine heat, transmission heat, and everything just kind of like rolls back into the Jeep, and with having a hard top, it's got nowhere to go.
Right.
So you could feel the AC coming out of the vent for about 8 inches away from the vent, and then it was just hot. It's like, fuck, man, I had sweat rolling down my face. So there were some miserable parts, but like just doing all these little jumps, dude, it was fun. Like it never felt like, oh, we got to get this 30 hours knocked out as fast as possible.
Right.
Because road tripping like that's not fun anyway, unless you are super good at just like sitting behind the wheel and hauling ass, But yeah, so yeah, same boat, similar things. I want to have mine done because we have in 6 weeks, I guess, from now.
About that.
Yeah.
We have our Onyx event going on in South Dakota
Mhm.
and
Black Hills.
Black Hills, South Dakota.
This time we're going to be in Spearfish instead of Deadwood.
Yep.
And that's going to be a lot better, I think, because there's going to be way more parking for us.
yeah, that helps.
And there's more food places to eat. I mean, Deadwood was fun, but there's really nowhere to eat there except for Louis was good, but we had to go
Oh,
to.
that was the bar and lead or whatever.
Yeah, we had to
Yeah,
go to
we
Lead
had
for
to
that.
drive a half an hour to get there.
Yeah, because that that fucking buffet at that restaurant was trash.
That was my fault. That was my fault. I picked it.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
fucking suck.
yeah.
I mean, it was a good idea. It was all you could eat for whatever, $30 or whatever, but like everything sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, well, the lobster's pretty good. I'm just gonna load up on like nothing was.
But even the
good.
lobster was like,
It
was
crab legs
mealy.
were bad, and
Yeah, it was,
I'm like,
The
this
prime
is what
rib
we're
was-
gonna eat.
the prime rib was dry.
Yeah.
yeah, it was trash. Super, but I know Ryan and I at least have not the same night, but
Different nights, same experience.
yeah, stories. So we had a good time. I mean, we cut loose, which is good. I think that's good for us. I think that's some of the things that we sometimes forget too when we're out doing these things. Because I mean, I look at the trail time, very professionally because we're trying to give you guys, the viewer, the best experience we can give you while you're sitting on your couch, watching it. And for some of you, it means more because you're reflecting, you're getting to relive your memories. And some of you, that's your visual, out of body experience trip of going to wherever the hell we were. So I take it very serious on the trail.
Right.
And sometimes I think with all of us, I think that from Monday morning at 8:00 to Friday at 5:00, like that's just how we do our whole event.
Yep.
So I think having those times where we, cut loose and have a little bit of fun as well is also important because we're also around our friends.
Mhm.
We're all friends. We
Yep.
have friends coming from all over the country and, being this like I got my camera and fucking
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
no,
I got
I'm
this
gonna film
timeline.
you. Hold on.
Yeah, no one really sees what we're doing.
Yeah,
Behind the camera, or even when the camera's off.
right.
And I mean, to a point, I don't mind that because some of the things that I do, I don't want everyone to know about.
Masturbating.
Well, yeah.
Lots.
I gotta take a shit again.
BRB.
God, sometimes your shits are like 15 minutes. Sometimes they're like 2.5. I don't get it. Oh, the 2.5 ones aren't shit.
Literally. Bro, I didn't hear the toilet flush.
Or wash your hands.
But when I came on board with you guys, the first thing that I did with you guys was Easter Jeep Safari 2019.
Mhm.
And you were literally sitting down in the morning, editing little 1 minute and 2 minute videos to just get blasted out there on the social media.
Right.
And that's important. Like I was like, all right, dude, like I respect that. Gabe's not a fuck around guy. Like we're fucking getting shit done, but then we wake up super early in the morning so that we're prepared, and then we're on the trail hiking all day, and then we're finding time to put these little 1 and 2 minute videos together.
When you get off the trail, you're like, A, is my Jeep broken? And
Yeah.
B, I need to get this content off of my camera and onto a computer somewhere so we do not lose it.
Yeah. And then, just for example, I mean, by the time we showed up at the rock crawler party in Easter Jeep Safari, like I was so tired that like I just wanted to eat some food and leave.
Right.
But I think it's important for us to try to, be able to separate the two, because there was a lot of people that, not necessarily me at the time, but like primarily you guys, that like a lot of people would have loved to gotten in front of your face and talk to you. But it's like, all right, dude, well, we got to go because we're getting back up at 5:30 tomorrow, basically, no matter what happens, because we need to be, shit, shower, shave, and eat, and be at the trailhead at 7:00 for you. So, goodbye.
Yeah. We will see you in the morning.
The sacrifice is worth it when someone reaches out to us and says, hey, like just recently someone posted, I just finished your series and episode 10 really hit me.
Yeah. Hit
I saw
home at
that.
the end.
Yeah. So when that sort of thing comes across, it just makes everything so worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Or when, I was selling some random shit on Facebook, and some dude must have not have realized who he was talking to. Comes to my house. He's like, hey, is that your yellow Jeep back there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, isn't that Ryan's? I'm like, hi, I'm Ryan. And
Nice
he
to
was
meet
like,
you.
yeah. He's like, oh, you guys just put out season 1 of Kingdom Crawl. He's like, me and my wife just watched it. You all killed it. It's cool to get the feedback from someone that you've never met before.
Yeah, I've gotten really interesting feedback on it too. I've gotten feedback from people within the off-road community, but I think some of the best feedback I've gotten is not just from random non-off-roaders, people that I actually do know, and I've been like, hey man, can you check this out? But like the people that aren't off-roaders
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
Like sitting down and watching the episodes is something that they do.
Yeah, because they're experiencing something that they would never ever go and experience.
Right.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So,
And I think season 2 is going to be a little bit different in the sense that it's not so much the way season 1 was kicked off, because in truth, season 1 kicked off with a really fucked up situation. We were on a trail all fucking night.
I was like, what fucked up? Oh yeah, that one. That makes sense.
So you guys are not the only one that has a quick trip story now, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting s'more activities.
Oh really? Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that. Well shit, we basically ran into Quick Trip Part 2 or Part 3 or version 2, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that day we got off the trail 1 or 2 in the morning, whatever it
Mhm.
was.
That
After
was just a wild day to begin with, because
that shit was out of control.
the
The whole day was out of control. When we got down whatever the little school bus, I don't remember the trail names or
It was
trail
like
numbers.
5:30 at night. I'm like, y'all are gonna hit another trail?
Yeah. And it was like, well, yeah. And it was, I like the conversation. I remember being like, well, we could go up this way, just boot scoot boogie out of here. Or we could go hit rail trail. And then I was like, okay, that like none of this makes sense to me because I have no idea where we're at in the park. I've never been to this park. I don't know what
Right.
rail trail is, which turns a conversation into hey, maybe we can actually get off this trail without breaking all the rigs for a change.
Who else is going to break and have to be drug out of here?
Yeah, that was whoever said that should just be kicked in the nuts. It was Bailey.
I'm pretty sure it was either.
No, I know who it was.
No, it was Brent.
It was Brent.
Yeah,
it was Brent.
Yeah,
or Rob.
It was the Tiger King.
Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens.
I can't believe how much he looks like. What's the fucking guy's name? His real name?
Oh fuck, I don't remember.
The Tiger King guy.
I don't know. I've watched one episode of it. Like I said, I don't have 8 hours to dedicate to my Jeep. I don't have any time to watch TV.
If Matt didn't, or if Brent didn't look such like a 90s person,
yeah,
he could get away with not looking like him.
Right.
But because he's got the typical 90s hoop earrings and this typical goatee with the 90s sunglasses, I mean, you can't help it.
You know, it was funny. I was thinking last night, I was thinking about Brent, which is weird. Is that weird to say? I was thinking about another dude last night. But I was like, man, I wonder if we should just fucking fork up a little bit of cash and get the guys coming to the Onyx just at least t-shirts. And then I laughed. I was like, I'll just cut the sleeves off Brent's for him. Like, that's the first thing I thought to myself. Hey, Brent, this one's yours. I already cut the sleeves off.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah,
Joe Exotic. There you go. Oh
I had to Google it because I couldn't remember.
Thanks, Google.
Yep, appreciate you.
But yeah, dude, that ended up being such a long night. And then I'm with, let's see, you headed out with Andrew Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So I was riding with Brent. So it was Brent. I don't want to give too much stuff away. Some of it's already been given away because there's been other videos posted about it.
Brent was in front of Marvin.
Yep. Marvin was one that broke.
That was a legit break.
That was bad.
Yeah, which is already given away. And if you want to know what happened to him, just head over to Flex Rocks and Rollovers on YouTube and you can find that out. And then there was a third person I was with. Oh, it was probably Mark Hendricks would be my guess.
Yep.
And then, so we get all the way up Rail Trail, which like you kind of just climb back out of the ravine all the way up to the top of, whatever the main road is going through Windrock. And we're just sitting there. We're like, man, where are these guys? Like, we have broken steering box guy off the trail. Yeah. Where is everybody else? And not broken steering box, ripped off the frame steering box. Steering box was actually fine itself. It just wasn't attached to the Jeep anymore.
Yeah, that's just.
And then like we're sitting up there and like kind of getting impatient. We don't want to leave that area because we want to make sure like everybody gets off the trail and this, that, and the other. That whole leave no Jeep behind type mentality. And then we just hear through the woods, I hear an engine revving. Somebody's stuck on something. And Ryan fucking screaming like, third driver, now give it a bump.
All right, stop. You're pulling the winch. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Pull the winch. I'm like, all right, Ryan's got it under control. I think we're good.
Yeah, let's do it. It's 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, hey man, we got to get back up at 5. Let's just get off the trail. Like swallow your pride, bro. It's 2 in the morning. Let's just go home.
Yeah, let's not break another rig on this trail. But it was probably Rob. That's probably who it was. Probably Brent, Rob, and Marvin. I think that's who I was sitting up there with.
Yeah.
Because, old...
we had Doug.
Old Shrek.
Gerald.
Shrek and the Grinch don't leave each other's side.
Right.
I love you, buddy. Oh, hiya, pal. But anyway, real quick, I just want to get through sponsors of CrawlCast here. So... we mention them every time, and I can't seem to not say their name, but Rock Crawler Suspension. Those guys come in huge for us all the time, and they have a great team. They're at Rock Crawler Suspension and spread all out over the country. So get to know your regional rep, and they will help you out. High Beam Off-Road, which Matt Loxley from High Beam Off-Road is... it helps us put on the event, the Onyx event that we're doing in September. So we know with the election infection that's going on around the country right now.
That's a good way to put it.
I love that. I'm still in that.
We know 2020 is kind of fucked, but this is something that's going to happen more than likely in 2021 and 2022 and 2023. So it's always in September. It's generally the third week, and location is different.
To be determined.
To be determined. We don't know what we're going to do 2021, but last year was Colorado. This year is South Dakota. I imagine next year is going to be somewhere. It will be somewhere. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. It will be somewhere
on Earth.
There
somewhere.
are plenty of places that we could wheel for a week.
So look for that. Matt puts in a lot of hard work for that and for us, and he can handle any of your off-road and on-road lighting needs. HP tuners, if you need any sort of tuning, reach out to Andrew Bailey or Jay and Alyssa. They're more than happy to help you with any sort of questions or help or anything. And they can do everything from just basic gear and tire recalibration in your computer to having full on onboard diagnostics through a radio, if that's what you choose to do. Outlaw Off-Road, which is in North Carolina and Alabama, Doug Langford.
Spelt differently though.
Yeah.
D-U-G. Langford.
He is doing really good stuff. Changing how off-road shops should be looking and operating and all that stuff. So we're stoked to have Doug on board. Smoking Dave's Barbecue here locally.
Yes.
If you ever got that, if you're ever a little hungry boy with a little grumbly tummy and you want some barbecue, make sure you're stopping by Smoking Dave's.
I was just there last week too.
Yeah, we
or
were
2 weeks ago.
So, and they're not just in Denver Metro. You know, we went up to Estes Park and I was like, oh yeah, there's a Smoking Dave's. So we'll just stop in for lunch. And literally as I'm parking, I see this Smoking Dave's van pulling in. And I'm like, oh, I wave. And here comes Dave.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, gonna get some barbecue.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Is he cool? He's like, yeah, cool. Bye. I was like, oh, all right. Word.
But yeah, so we really appreciate the support of all these guys coming on with us and allowing us to produce this podcast. However, as I say all the time, if you guys like what you're listening to, if you like what you see, this, that, and the other, show some support. Crawl5280.com. Hit that swag link. We got all sorts of stuff on there that'll just be shipped directly to your door. No fuss, no muss. It does not hurt our feelings to see our name around the community. So please, it continues to allow us, helps continue to allow us to do stuff and buy new cameras and stuff to give you the best viewing pleasure ever. So anyway, on that Estes Park.
Yep.
It was actually kind of a funny conversation that my wife and I had, and I'll be real quick with it, but we were talking about in Colorado. So in my mind, Estes Park is still kind of Denverish to me.
Okay.
Which I know. And because it's like,
not far.
Yeah,
it's not that far. It's not that far.
Hour
right?
and a half. It's not far at all.
Right. So like in Colorado, like a 20-minute drive from your house is pretty standard. I mean, yours is obviously a little bit different because you're more in the sticks, but like
in Nebraska,
in the traditional Denver metro area, having it take 20 minutes to get to the location that you're going to, like, and that's normal. Not that's not based on traffic. That's just based on
you're 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah, just based on location. Like, and so like a 20-minute drive in Colorado to me is short. Like 2020, like that's like I'm just down the street. Just
20 minutes down the street.
Just down the street, right? Or what else did we talk about? Like an hour was like we decided we called that a bit of a drive because you always say like, yeah, man, I can come. Yeah, Ryan, I'll be there in a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, but I'm on my way. Yeah,
I mean it's an hour.
Sure,
you know, like that's just in my mind, like that's just how Colorado is, which is so weird because, I mean, you go to like New York City and those guys don't want to move more than travel more than for 5 minutes from wherever they're at. Like she's always telling me like, yeah, when you get your apartment, like that's what you pay attention to. Like you need a laundromat, a Chinese restaurant,
coffee shop,
and a post office. Like you need all that on your block. Like, why does that have to be on your block? Like the closest post office to us is the one over that's directly in between our two houses.
Right.
It's the closest one to us, and that's a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Like That's
Yep, sure.
completely
Easy.
normal to me. Like 10-minute drive, like, oh, man, should I drive or should I walk?
Right.
Well, it's funny you mention it because when we're looking for places just north of Nashville right now,
Yeah.
Either in like Ashland City or Springfield area, and that's about a 45-minute drive to Nashville.
Right.
And my wife is black, and she has to have her hair done by a black stylist because that's what they know.
Right.
So that's one of our big things is looking for a house.
Near
That's
hair
not
salon.
a bit of a drive.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's just so weird. So yeah, so I don't know. I guess I say in the Denver metro area because Estes Park to me, it is like on the outskirts of in my own mind of what the Denver metro area is.
Right. Yeah. It's not far, but
Yeah.
we were
Mhm.
like, hey, we're going to get out of the city for a day and we're going to go drive around and go hang out.
You're gonna get out of the city by having to drive through the city to get out of the city.
No, drive through the city from Brighton. You like go.
You just skirt the outsides of it.
Yeah, you jump on E470 and
It's kind of like working the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like just.
But yeah. Anyway, go to Smoking Dave's if you're ever here, or if you
Estes
are
Park,
here.
Estes Park, Centennial, Denver,
Lions.
Lions, and there's one opening up north now too, right? Longmont.
Well, they have a Longmont location. They're closing that one and just moving it.
Moving
Okay.
it down the street. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, there's 5 or 6 or 7
Yeah.
locations.
Super good food, super good time.
Yep.
Serve alcohol.
And through coronavirus, their hours are changed. So if you are in town and trying to do some dinner, I think they're closing at like 7 or 8 right now because of the virus.
Yep.
To fall with under whatever our state regulations are.
They also will send you home with margaritas.
Yes.
Just in
They will
case
do
you're
that too.
wondering.
But so South Dakota is coming up. That should be really fun. I mean, because when we were there, we did a day and a half of wheeling when we were there last year.
Yep. 2 days, right?
And that was a day and a half because really we went and ran Captain Crunch or Cheerios or
Yeah, that was just
Big
way
Pebbles.
too short of a weekend.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to be up there for a full week. And actually, I was going to ask you guys like, hey, would you guys want to do a golfing day? Have a day off the trail? So that's super fun. That should be exciting, I
Yeah.
think.
Are we dragging Josh with us again?
He's coming.
Perfect.
Local guide.
Always. Thanks, Josh.
Is he bringing his Jeep? Do you know?
No, he's bringing his mog.
Unimog?
Wow, that's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking to myself, I was thinking about, that's why I asked you if you were bringing your Jeep, because you're going to be Jeepless.
Mhm.
Matt's going to be Jeepless.
Mhm.
Brent should have an open seat, I think.
He's not coming.
Oh, Brent's not coming?
No.
Oh, I thought he was.
No,
Is
he's backed
Rob?
out. Rob is still coming.
So Rob should have an open seat. You'll
No,
have-
Wes is coming with Rob.
who is?
Wes.
Oh, really?
The guy with the red 2-door.
Why did Brent back out? Is he tired of rolling his Jeep?
No, what did he say was? I can't
Is that a
remember.
big pussy?
Yeah, he is a big,
big.
he's a big, sloppy, wet pussy.
That sounds kind of nice.
I can't remember why he couldn't go. It was kind of ridiculous why he couldn't go, but we're just like, whatever. His
Brent,
mind's
we
made
love
up.
you.
Yeah.
Not really. No, I do.
Joe Exotic.
Alex is coming, but he won't have an open seat.
No, he's bringing Allie.
She's gonna walk
So he'll have
the
an
whole time.
So
she'll
he'll have
an open.
He'll
seat.
have an open seat.
Is she walking because she's hoping for a ring?
No, I think it may be because she's afraid of the trails. But Allie hates me and him, dude. For like the last 2 weeks, anything she posts, she was like, "Oh, getting old sucks." I'm like, "Yeah, it'd be better with a ring." Just poking the bear.
So backstory to that, our friend Allie and Alex have been together for 5 years, 6 years.
Wow.
And she's been aching for an engagement ring and hasn't had one. And Alex is just like, ho hum,
Yeah.
you get it when I give it to you.
But anyway, I guess my whole point was I feel like we might be lacking seats because I don't plan on putting my back seat back in my Jeep.
I have a back seat.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah, you do.
Yep.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been in there. I've been in your back seat. But I was trying to make sure we had seats. That sounds like some non-podcast planning that I'm putting out there right
It's okay.
now.
We should have seats.
Yeah, we have seats.
We're good.
I think the Unimog, has a bed. We
Yeah,
can just
right.
strap some
I can't
people
believe
down.
he's going to bring the Mog. Is he coming for the whole? Did he take the week off work?
I think
and
so.
everything?
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
we're gonna figure out trails next week actually. We're gonna We're going to talk with them and nail down some trails. But I think for sure,
I'd like to definitely do the camp trails. I don't remember what they're called.
Hell John's, Calamity, Captain Crunch is part of that one on Camp 5.
I don't remember.
What I really
No,
think,
no, no,
what
it's
I-
Kong.
I'm just gonna get more body damage. So
What I think we should definitely do is because I didn't get a chance to see it. I know you guys have seen, but I definitely want to make our way back up to that waterfall
Yeah.
on camp.
Hell John's.
Yeah, Hell John's.
yeah,
So
I've seen
Camp
videos
5
of it when it was empty, and we saw it completely full of water.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
an 8-foot rock in the bottom of that thing. We
Oh,
didn't
were you
see
not
it.
at the event up there that year?
No,
Oh,
no. My wife was giving birth, so I couldn't
Yeah.
make it.
fucking kids ruin everything.
So Camp 5 basically connects Spearfish to Deadwood or Spearfish to Lead.
Okay.
And then that's a whole trail system within that. And I think Camp 5 is an actual trail. That's just a UTV trail.
Mm-hmm.
Off of Camp 5, though, Kong, Calamity, Hell John's, and there's one more. I can't remember the name of it. But and then on the other side of the hill is where the cereal trails are. Captain
Gotcha.
Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, and was it Milk Bowl?
Milk and cookies.
I think it's Milk Bowl or something like that.
I don't remember. Something about cereal.
Yeah.
So those are in that area, and then is there more stuff outside of that? Immediately?
Yeah. So I'm actually in talks right now with the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, not the other
Black
one.
Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Not that
And
one.
I'm trying to get a special permit for this event where they only give a certain amount of permits for these trails per year.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be pretty exciting if I can get these.
Yeah, I mean, because it'd be cool to. I mean, having a full week up there, we're going to be able to cover a lot of territory. Obviously, videoing wheeling is always a little bit slower paced than just going out there and trail riding with your buddies.
Mhm.
But I mean, if we're hitting it every day, we're going to get a lot of area just completely covered.
Right.
So,
Yep.
I mean, we ran a lot of Hale Johns or whatever that trail was the one day we were up there. And then did we run Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch? I think it was Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, we blazed through that trail.
Yeah. Captain.
We didn't even
Crunch,
do the
we
whole
did
thing.
Lower and middle. We didn't do upper.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch.
Gotcha. I can't remember. It all blends together to me. But yeah,
They were trails.
that should be a blast. Although I'm thinking September in South Dakota might be starting to get a little chilly. So we'll see.
I think we'll be okay.
I think we'll be fine. But I'm thinking it's going to be probably
50s.
It won't-
50s in the morning and probably 70s when we're
It
getting
won't
off
be
the
any
trail.
colder than it was that first trip.
Yeah.
I think that was in May.
Perfect.
June. I don't know. I'm a sweatshirt wearing guy, so if it's sweatshirt weather, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sweatshirt and shorts is like that's where I'm primo.
Well, the last time we were on that trail, we were 10 minutes in and my feet were soaked already because I fell off of trying to jump, puddle
From
jump.
rock to rock.
Yeah. And yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. So that should be really fun. So you guys need to stay tuned because I don't know if that's gonna wrap our season or if we're gonna find some other stuff to get done or whatever. I mean,
There may be some Trail to SEMA stuff.
we
Yeah,
had some-
COVID kind of fucked us this year.
Yeah, we had some really big ambitions and aspirations as far as the amount of content we were going to put out through Kingdom Crawl. And I mean,
It's a big pivot.
We've lost 2 events because of it.
Right.
So, I mean, we've lost legitimately 10 days of wheeling because of it. And that's, I mean, who knows if that could easily be at least 5 episodes between those 10 days
Sure.
at a minimum. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's
a lot
like,
of content.
yeah. So who knows? And then you got a move coming up. So eventually, I mean, you're probably not going to want to be traveling around wheeling at the end of October if you're planning on leaving in November. Probably have some other things.
Well, my idea is to sell every fucking thing that I have in my place. So,
Oh, perfect.
so that way I don't have that much to move.
Yeah. Fuck it. Just leave it there. Fully furnished. Hope you like it. Oh, you didn't know it was going to be furnished? Take care of it yourself. Bye.
Yeah, right. There's a dumpster outside.
Yeah.
Those aren't cum stains.
Yeah. Or they are. I don't know. I get so confused.
It's dog slobber.
But
Trust me.
Sure.
But yeah, I can't wait. I do know that as of right now, and I guess you guys are hearing it first. I think for Halloween weekend, we're gonna go do a creepy crawl. Is what me and my buddies are deciding to call it right now.
Mile High Jeep Club used to do one every year.
Oh well, we're going to Sand Hollow.
Oh, they would go to the cemeteries up in Blackhawk, and they would just cruise the cemeteries that night.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
No.
That doesn't sound fun for me because like I'm not really, afraid of, ghost ghouls and goblins, but the reason I'm not afraid of them is because I avoid putting myself in situations where ghost ghouls and goblins may be. But yeah, no, I know a couple of us want to go to Sand Hollow and go do that, which could be fun. So if you guys want to come, I don't know the dates, but
yeah, hit up Adam. He's just obviously coordinating it.
I don't know the dates, but yeah, that's what's going on. And mistakes were made, I think.
So he just invited
everyone,
10,000 people to come and wheel Sand Hollow
on Halloween.
We're not going to Sand Hollow. We're going to Moab.
We'll see you in Moab for Halloween.
Yeah. But yeah, my buddy with the little truggy thing that he got, he actually broke it at the end of last season on Carnage. Literally ripped the transmission away from the motor.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
Not
awesome.
even mad.
So he's kind of like fixed it and putting it back together and upgrading some stuff. So he's just done some small wheeling trips. So he's eager to go do something big now that he's got it completely back up and going. And so we were talking about it and be able to just like ditch the wives out there and go wheel. I don't know what they're going to do. They'll figure it out. But
They'll go swimming in the reservoir.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the reservoir is going to be 80 at that point in time because I think the high at that time of year was like 71 or something like that. So I'm sure the reservoir will be cold.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
But so we got a lot of stuff coming up still. We got a lot of stuff, but it feels like the wheeling season's already coming to an end, which is so weird.
Yeah, it's just August 1st or 2nd, whatever today is.
It is today.
The 2nd? First?
First.
Yeah. So we're at the beginning of August and it kind of feels like the wheeling season's over.
Well, every event known to man is fucking canceled because of the election infection. Is that what you called it?
That was so good. I don't know where you got that from, how you came up with it, but I'm still in it.
Well, I'll just take claim to it. But no, I read it on Facebook last night and I laughed about it for about 45 minutes.
And you're like, I'm going to use that every day. Thanks.
Yeah. So it's so true though. God, this coronavirus is such fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
November 5th, it'll be over. Don't worry.
Yeah. Can't wait. It's going to be over no matter what happens.
Right.
Especially if a Democratic president gets into office, they'll be like, oh yeah, actually we found out it's just a little cough.
Yeah.
Sorry guys.
Oops.
Yeah. Fauci be like, yeah, you don't need to wear goggles in public. God, I can't believe that was one of the newest things.
Yeah, goggles. Whoever thought, well, we know who it was. Fossey, motherfucker.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know, but
I just say
Fucky.
Fauci.
Fauci.
Yeah.
Fucky. That's what his name should be. Fucky. Because he's fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Now, this motherfucker, though, I mean, if he's so smart and the leading virologist, then how did he not know we should be wearing goggles 6 months ago?
Dude, it's all scare tactics.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The election infection, man.
I don't even wear goggles on a job site. What makes you think I'm going to wear one when
I don't wear goggles when I'm fucking using a fucking grinder.
Yeah, I don't wear goggles when I masturbate. That's probably the most risky time.
Motherfucker's like a fire hose.
That's like the 4th time I've talked about masturbating. So apparently I got some plans after this.
Must be that time.
But yeah, dude, it's just so weird. It's just such a weird off season. And I can't wait, dude. That's why I'm super excited about South Dakota. And I'm really excited about there being like a 98% chance my Jeep will be there. Because it'll be the first time I'm driving my Jeep in 2 years.
Right.
Mhm.
So man.
Let's see if we can get you stuck and have to winch a rock out from underneath you to get you moving again.
Oh, it was actually funny because of the CARES Act, because of coronavirus, it requires employees to offer up to 80 hours of paid time off.
Right.
So people can self-seclude themselves, whatever they call it. So social distance, whatever.
Quarantine.
Quarantine. There we go. Got it.
Did you turn into Diezel on that trip or something?
All right. To be fair, I'm running off the last 36 hours. I'm running off about 4 hours of sleep right now. So mine's mushy. But yes, I must have. I think I got some Diezel in me. Uh-oh. But anyway.
That's the weirdest thing you've ever had in you.
Diezel. But, so they offered the 80 hours off, and I'm like, man, I could work. So I just worked this week. I could work next week, then take the 80 hours off. And then I took the week before Onyx off and the week of Onyx. I think that just rolls me right into Onyx of not going to work. And I'm like,
right.
I just mope around the house, wear sweatpants and
no pants,
not shower. Just like, you hear that dry cough, boss? And I have a runny nose. I think I should stay home for 80 hours.
Well, now that I work from home, if I was to catch the Rona, I would still have to work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the downside. I think, and I really do think business is going to change. And I know we've talked about it, but I really do think business is going to change as a whole. I think it's pretty much, I think way more companies are going to allow their employees to work remotely.
Yep.
I'm already seeing it.
And then to the benefit, which I don't think employers have figured out yet, is if you do have a sick employee at home, it's gonna be like forced work. Like I bet you sick time numbers or sick time hours get cut in half. Like, oh, you had 40, but now we're only gonna give you 20. So if you're not gonna work because you're sick, then
you're at home anyway.
You better be like, you better not be at home because you went to the hospital sick. Like I think that's some of the shit that's gonna come into play, which is beneficial to the business. It's not that beneficial to the employee. So, who knows where that goes.
Well, bringing up sick time. So I don't know about you, but by this time this year, last year, does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, followed.
Okay. So
took me a second.
this time
by this time last year. Okay.
You fucked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
a year ago today.
Last year at this time, we go. Last year at this time, I probably used 4 or 5 sick days.
Yeah.
And I haven't used one this year.
What were you?
I was not sick.
Well, yeah. See,
he was at home sick.
Can you guys roll your sick time hours over?
No.
Yeah. See, we can't either. So I use mine.
Yep.
I mean, we have rules, right? So you can only use so many sick time hours in a allotted time. And if you use more than that, you could get in trouble unless like you're legitimately sick and you can have a doctor vouch that you're not just out day drinking at a Rockies game.
Sure.
Which nobody is anyway.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
but for an example, but yeah, so as long as you know what the rules are and you don't break the rules, like, cause we don't get anything for not calling off and we don't get to roll any hours. So it's not like we get bonused because we came to work every scheduled shift. And, so the way I look at it is that's money that they're putting on the table for us. Mm-hmm. And so I could go to work and bust my ass for 12 hours, or I could sit at home and get paid 12 hours and watch TV all day. Same amount of money, right?
Right.
It doesn't affect anything besides I didn't show up to work. That's the only change. So I use all my fucking sick time. Mm-hmm. I actually plan my sick time like as part of vacations and stuff like that.
Right.
I plan on using this sick time to move.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to use my vacation. Right. Because I already have that allocated. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. So it's like going to wherever I said I was going to go to over Halloween. Hopefully people have already forgot about
to Moab.
That. Yeah, to Moab. To what is that? The Wolf Caves or whatever in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I think it was AOP.
Yeah. Was it AOP? I don't know. It might have been.
We're wheeling somewhere for Halloween.
But anyway, I was like, man, I wonder if I should call off like the day before that weekend or the day after that weekend, because the thing about where I'm going, which I think, was AOP or something, is it's a 9-hour drive from here. And well, people might have an idea that we're in Colorado, but they don't know exactly where I live. But it's between a 9 or a 19-hour drive from here. So it's like
it covers a lot. It's perfect. We could be anywhere.
So it's like with so yeah, I know my first day and my last day are travel days.
Yep.
You know, so it's like I feel like I want one more to just have a chill day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work to put in those two travel
You
days.
almost always have to have an extra day off after your vacation
Yeah,
to
dude, you
like
got to do laundry and
Yeah.
clean up and make sure everything's good for when you go back to work the next day.
Yeah.
There's nothing like getting a flat tire, getting home at 11 o'clock and being like, fuck it. I got to work in 5 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah. But like, that's how I plan my sick days with my vacations. Because I did it last year for Easter Jeep Safari. I called off the first 2 days of Easter Jeep Safari. And then I had my weekend. And then I had vacation.
There you go.
Just made it work.
Yep.
So
I think I did that last year when I switched jobs.
Yeah.
I used up all the rest of the vacation time that I had, which was 2 weeks. And then I was starting my new job in 2 weeks. So I had 1 week already planned out. So I was 5 weeks before I started. I had a 5-week vacation.
yeah.
So it was great.
That's always good too, man. That's always super good advice. If you're gonna move away from whatever company you work for to a new company, make that shit work in your benefit.
Mhm.
Dude,
Always.
unless you hate the company you're working for, like absolutely hate them, and that's why you're leaving. But like, if you play your cards right, give them their 2 weeks,
Take your vacation.
take your vacation or whatever, or go unpaid if you can afford to do it. But like,
Right.
take another 2 weeks or another 3 weeks off between starting. It's just such a nice way to refresh your mind and your body. And
Yeah, you're going to start fresh, a new place.
And that actually helped me because I was still very bitter with my old job because I fucking hated my boss.
yeah,
And it gave me that decompression time
Yeah.
to like, reboot basically.
well, that's how Erica did it when she left her old company to go work for the company she works for now. I told her straight up, I was like, we'll figure out the bill side of it. Like, take some time off, because she was like unhealthily stressed out. And it's like, just take some time off. Like, and I think she ended up telling her new boss, like, hey, yeah, I'll come work for you, but I need some time. And her new boss was like, take whatever time you need. So I think she took like 2.5 months off of work.
Damn, there you go.
And we just figured it out. I just picked up a couple extra shifts here and there and
Right.
sold myself on the street. And
How much did you get?
not very much.
Well, is that why you worked overtime?
$5. $5 a handy. I'm cheap.
$5 a hole.
Yeah. You choose.
Left nostril.
Yeah.
There's a la carte up in here.
But anyway, well, shit, guys, we apologize for the sabbatical. We're going to try to, now that we're in a little bit of a lull for the next, I don't know,
5 weeks?
We're
6
we're
weeks?
6 weeks to the event, but it's probably like the next 4 weeks we'll be in a lull. Then we're going to be in planning stage and packing and doing all that shit. We'll try to get back to being a little bit more consistent, and then maybe do a podcast in South Dakota while we're there.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
We'll just go take over Dakota Customs.
this is a
There you go.
this is actually I'll be honest with you, taking this to Tennessee was a pain in the ass with us, but at least just carrying it from right here and putting it in a car and then
It's
into
a lot different.
way easier.
Yeah. So the plan was we took all of our recording equipment to Tennessee to hopefully do a podcast or two from there. Because of all the time we were stuck on a trail or whatever it might have been. Fixing Jeeps. We just did not
Driving
have
to and
time.
from the parts store.
Yeah, we just did not have time to record any podcast while we were in Tennessee, which sucked because we took all this shit
Yeah.
to Tennessee with us.
Yeah.
Didn't use a fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, at least when we went to Moab, and I guess I hadn't unpacked it since Moab. I told you guys Tennessee because apparently I had those 2 weekends backwards in my own mind.
Tennessee first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moab.
Yeah. But Moab, it was no big deal. I mean, the hardest part about traveling with all this shit was carrying it up the 3 flights of stairs to the fucking top floor condo that we got.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Thanks, Gabe.
Everything's my fault.
It's up there? What the fuck?
Like, well, I guess I'm leaving the cooler of beer down here.
Yeah. Ryan is just going to stay in your Jeep on top of all of the breakfast burritos.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I left a fucking bag of popsicles in that freezer.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Or did you take them?
Yeah, we took them.
Oh, okay.
They're gone. Don't worry about it.
He's like,
They were
Sean
consumed.
ate him.
Yeah. Because they were like the poverty pop styles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think Sean pretty much got through all of them. We might have a couple left. I don't know. It's just frozen ice and food coloring and some sugar.
Right.
It's
Nothing-
not going to go bad.
There's nothing better than a popsicle on a hot ass day.
That's true. That
Unless
is so true.
Unless it's a beer.
Dude, you know what, man, after wheeling with like guys like Rob and doing the Rubicon and whatnot, I'm half tempted to go buy one of the fridge freezer things.
Dometic coolers or something.
Yeah. Cause I mean, dude, you could, because it's a fridge and a freezer, like you could legitimately have popsicles in your cooler on the trail.
Well,
Right.
When we did Crawl America in Tennessee,
Yep.
I was with Michael Nadel.
Yeah.
And he had one.
Yep.
And we stopped for lunch. And this dude brings out a fucking ice cream. I'm like, where the fuck did you get? He's like, I got a cooler.
Yeah.
Like a cooler? He's like, no, like a cooler.
He's like, do you want one? I was like, yes.
I'm seriously contemplating buying one. I mean, I always thought that was like the dorky overland thing to do.
Yeah, I know, me too.
But
for what we do, man, it's almost a necessity.
well, yeah, I mean, because like we're not, hanging out in parking lots, cooking dinner, and putting up our rooftop tents. We do legitimate shit like get stuck on trails for fucking 30 hours because we're fucking rock crawling and break shit.
Yeah.
No offense, overlanders, but I overland by driving to the destination I'm going to rock crawl at.
We drive overland to our rock crawling
I
destination.
can look out the window and fucking stare at the highway and fucking road signs and shit. Like, same thing, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, that's a nice dirt road, by the way.
Yeah. But I always thought that was like, the geeky, nerdy, like, oh, look at this new fucking ARB fucking fridge freezer I got. It was $4,300, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, I'm there. I'm up to that point where I'm like, man, this is actually.
Yeah, you ain't got to buy ice. You ain't got to let the water out. You don't have to hear it sloshing around all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's going to be anchored down. So when you do take something that's off camber, you're not going to have an ice chest just. Whoosh,
yeah, you're not. Hey, you're leaking.
To one side.
It's just ice, bro.
Yeah. And I mean, because dude, like the Rubicon, the biggest struggle was ice for Diezel and myself. So he's got a Yeti style cooler. It's not a Yeti, but I don't know what brand it is. It's a Yeti.
Shitty.
Yeah, it's shitty. I seriously want to buy some of that shit from. Have you've seen the shit?
Yeah, Chris King has a whole bunch of shitty.
The shitty coolers.
Yeah. Shitty coolers, yeah. Just because I actually just really want to buy their trucker hat that just says shitty on it because I feel like that describes me pretty well. Because shitty's not necessarily a bad thing either. Like,
right.
Yeah. But anyway, so we've struggled with ice pretty bad. So on one cooler, the Yeti style cooler was nice and it held the ice pretty well. It was all water, but it was still really cold water by the end of the 4 days. He had like some other generic like Rubbermaid or Coleman or whatever. And that thing, I think the ice was melted and the water was hot within like an hour of leaving the ice house. So we ended up like having basically like piss warm beer and water and all this shit. And fucking Corey Osborne, he's like, hey, I'm grabbing a beer. Do you want one? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll have a beer or whatever. And he's like, any particular flavor? I'm like, whatever you walk back with.
Something that's fucking frosted.
And so I didn't realize he had a fridge freezer because maybe he had it covered by some bags or something. I don't know. It was in the back of their Jeep, but I didn't notice it. Right. And he like comes back and like puts it in my hand. I'm like, oh, it's a cold beer. Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, and so it was legitimately that moment that I'm like, man, should I just invest into one of these? Like they're $1,000 for like lower end.
Right.
That's
Marketplace, bro.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah. Maybe I should just start cruising Marketplace. There's going to be
AliExpress or something.
There's going to be some overlander that realizes that just driving down a dirt road fucking sucks.
Well, there's all these people that have been getting unemployment and putting money into their overlanding rigs, and they're going to realize, oh, fuck, I don't have any money now, and there's no more unemployment, so I guess I better sell some shit.
Or it's an overlander that decided, this is too much money. I'm going to buy a WRX.
Yeah.
And buy a mod, and
I'm going to turbo out my Subaru and sneeze at people.
Boom.
Yeah, dude, that shit. I think I'm gonna buy one because that's so legitimate. Like, especially for us, because I mean that's kind of what we do anyway on the trail. For a little background, is like we have only had one Jeep on the trail for the last 2 years, but typically it's like we make one Jeep kind of our hub, like that. That's where we put all of our shit, so we know where to go to find shit. So if we
need some shit, we know where to go.
Yeah. If I have a dead battery and I'm walking to go get another battery and Gabe's like, hey, grab me one.
Don't step on the sliders.
I know where to go.
You could step on them with the new ones.
But so we generally have like one cooler. So for us, like, wouldn't it be nice to have like Gatorade and waters that are like, they are
ice cold
all day long, no matter what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Plus, without the ice and shit, then like you don't have to worry about having soggy Diezel Sammys.
Yeah.
No soggy meat in this place.
Or chocolate water.
Or chocolate water.
God, can you keep those?
Do you like those?
hunks
Do you like
ice
those
cold?
Snickers ice cream bars?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
God, dude. Yeah, we get a whole box and put it in there. Like, hey man, you got any food yet? I got some Snickers ice cream bars.
I'd fucking sign me up, son of a bitch.
You know what? That's true. Because if it came down to it, all you needed was a pack of beef jerky, and some water in your fridge, and you're set for a weekend. I can live off of that.
Yep.
I mean,
Maybe
yeah,
some
you're
beer.
gonna buy a small fortune in beef jerky, I think, but I don't think I could be like rationing beef jerky because I have a problem of like when I get into beef jerky, I eat the entire bag because I fucking love beef jerky.
you pop it and you're like, oh, that bag's empty.
Yeah. Well, you like pop, you're like, God, that smells like farts. Fuck it. I don't know why. All beef jerky smells like farts to me.
It's only the teriyaki beef jerky that really fucks with my stomach.
Yeah.
All the other ones are fine.
But I don't know. I've lived off Cliff Bars and beef jerky in Moab. Actually, my last trip to Moab before I tore my Jeep apart, like it was Cliff Bars and beef jerky on the trail. And then, God, I think.
Well, you saw what my snacks.
I think
you saw my snacks when I went to the city market in Moab.
Right.
What I come back with? Fucking Pop-Tarts,
Lunchable,
water, and granola bars.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can live off of that easily.
Yeah.
But that's also why I gained 35 pounds in the last 3 years.
So yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm really close. If anybody's got one that they're a used one that they're selling, hit me up.
We'll start the bidding at $1, Bob.
$1. So anyway, well, let's fucking close it up, guys.
Yep.
I think we got some bright future stuff and some stuff that you guys should be excited to see in the relatively near future. And as always, go like, follow, subscribe, share, do all that crazy fun stuff.
Buy some swag.
Buy some swag. Buy some swag.
Is it swag, or
Swag. This is not
Swag.
Mexican gangster weed.
No, I wanted him to go buy some of that. That's why I said swag.
How does that help us?
brickweed? Mexican brickweed is the best.
Because maybe they'll get all high and fucking whip out the fucking credit card.
Fair.
And buy $5,000 worth of shit off our website.
Buy lots of swag.
Lots of swag to help you buy the swag. Is that right?
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right, guys. Peace out. Till next time.
See ya.
Later.